Animals. A word, a being that we hear every day. Abuse. A word or an action that exists but shouldn't. How can we relate these words? They are constantly used in a concept called animal abuse. What does animal abuse mean? It means an action made by a person with an intention to harm, stress, or even kill an animal. These types of abuses are happening around us constantly, yet we don't seem to realize this. As the niece and nephew of various vets, I've heard and seen enough stories in my lifetime to know that this needs to change. You are your animal's everything, yet abuse and abandonment are common things done to these loyal creatures. Giving them love and respect is the least we can do to help them. I learned to give them the proper care they deserve. Pets expect to live their lives in a loving home, with someone who loves them just as much as they do. They expect to be healthy, eating the proper foods, and being fed whenever they feel hungry or in need of a snack. They expect to live their lives happily, being able to play and not having to worry about getting hurt. Even though there are animals that get to live their lives like that, others don't have the same advantage. Some dogs have to live in the streets where they are constantly facing threats like lack of food, lack of shelter, lack of love, etc. For these dogs and cats, the word survival finally finds its true meaning. According to the ASPCA, which stands for the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, they state that there are approximately 70 million stray dogs and cats in the United States alone. Out of this amount, only 6 to 8 million dogs go to shelters. They also state that approximately 250,000 animals fall victim to abuse, and these are only the cases that get reported. As you can see, there are so many cases, yet the majority of them go unheard of. I had an experience I will never forget with a stray puppy. Her mother died because of lack of food, and since her mother died, so did her brothers and sisters. She was the only one left. I was inside my uncle's house playing a game with my cousins. I was sitting on the ground. The puppy came through the trapdoor and no one noticed her except me. She was limping. Her paw was dislocated and she kept crying and whimpering. My heart ached at this sight. I knew that I couldn't help her. I was too young and didn't know what to do. Despite all my doubts, I crawled near the puppy, and as soon as she saw me, she climbed onto my lap and started licking my hands. I wasn't exactly healing her, but the fact that I was holding her and making her warm was enough to make her feel happy. Animals are living things, yet we constantly treat them like objects. There are organizations all over the world doing their best to save these animals who are suffering. I'm constantly thinking and coming up with different ways on how to save these animals. After realizing that not every dog and cat has the same lifestyle, I started paying more attention to the streets, the different animals, their different needs, wants, etc. Wiley, a stray dog, had to go through 4 different homes in order to finally find his perfect match. He was found as a stray by Friends with 4 Paws Rescue in Oklahoma, where he found his first home. He was then sent to Brooklyn, where he found a second home. After getting returned, his destined owner finally came to save him. She states that by just looking at his photo, she already felt a connection. Your little life matters just as much as mine. This is a lesson his owner learned once she adopted Wiley. You are your animal's everything. Yet abuse and abandonment are common things done to these loyal creatures. Giving them love and respect is the least we can do to help them. I invite you to rethink your choices whenever you take your pet for granted, and if you don't have a pet, whenever you take whatever animal for granted. We have to remember that without animals, we wouldn't still be here. It's not hard for me to say that animals are the main reason some of us are still alive. There are many things that you can do. Here are some examples. Contact an organization. Many organizations have the option to donate, or you have the option to collaborate, meaning you go out with other volunteers to save animals who are in danger. Another thing you could do is spread awareness. After listening to this talk, go share it with your friends, family, strangers, etc. Raising awareness is going to make more people realize the problem, and some are probably going to want to do something about it. Thank you for listening, and I hope this talk inspired you to be a better and more understanding person.